Part 3. The Light That Spoke to Humanity. There are moments in history when the human story feels like a single breath, different languages, different lands, yet the same search echoes in every heart. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I meant to do with this life? Every civilization has asked it. Every soul has felt it. And at the center of that search, through the rise and fall of empires, a voice was sent, not from a palace, not from the powerful, but from the silence of a desert night. A man stood on a mountain in Arabia, his heart trembling as the first words of divine revelation descended upon him. Read, "In the name of your Lord who created." Surah Al-Alaq, 96.1. It was not a message for one tribe or one era. It was the call of the Creator to all humanity. A reminder that every human being, no matter where they are born, carries the same breath of the divine, the same hunger for truth, the same capacity for mercy. That light was Islam, not a new religion, but the continuation of the eternal message that began with the first human being. From Adam to Noah, from Abraham to Moses, from Jesus to Muhammad, saw one message, one truth, one creator, different messengers, one universal call: worship the one, live in peace, and act with compassion. The Quran tells us, "We sent you not but as a mercy to all the worlds." Surah Al-Anbiya, 21:107, not to Arabs, not to one nation, but to all worlds. To every heart that beats and every soul that searches. This universality is what makes Islam not a culture, but a mirror for the human being. Its light does not erase identity, it refines it. It doesn't demand you abandon your culture, it elevates your humanity within it. It speaks not only to the believer, but to the doubter, the seeker, the one who feels lost yet yearns for meaning. The Quran never begins with, "O Muslims," but with "O humanity," because the message is universal. It speaks to the shared essence within us all, the fitra, that natural recognition of truth, the longing for justice, the need for love, the desire for peace. When the Quran says, "O humanity, indeed we created you from a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another." Surah Al-Hujurat, 49:13. It does not call for division, but for unity through understanding. It reminds us that diversity is not a test of superiority, but a sign of divine artistry. Different tongues, one message. Different colors, one creator. Different paths of life, but one destination: to return to Him. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu, lived this universality in every breath. He was sent to a world divided, rich and poor, free and enslaved, men and women treated unequally, tribes in endless war. And yet, his words reshaped hearts more than laws ever could. He said, "All of you are from Adam, and Adam is from dust." There is no superiority of an Arab over a non-Arab, nor of a non-Arab over an Arab, nor of a white over a black, nor of a black over a white, except by righteousness. Hadith. In his presence, the barriers of birth and status dissolved. The powerful wept beside the poor. The orphan stood equal to the leader, because his message was not political, it was human. It was light addressing the very essence of the soul. That is why the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu, still speak to hearts today, even centuries later. Because truth does not expire. Because the soul recognizes what the body forgets. When the Quran is recited sincerely, it doesn't speak only to the ears. It speaks to the core of being. It speaks in the universal language of meaning. It reminds us of what our hearts already know but our world tries to bury, that we belong to something higher, that our existence is not random, that love and mercy are divine, and that peace begins when we surrender to the truth. Even in our modern chaos, Islam's light continues to guide those who listen, not through force, but through fitra, through the quiet realization that nothing in this world can satisfy the soul except the one who created it. People across the globe, from cities to mountains, from deserts to oceans, still find their way to Islam. Not because they were born into it, but because something in its truth felt natural. It didn't ask them to become someone else. It asked them to become fully human again. And that is the miracle. Islam is not foreign to humanity. It is the blueprint of humanity. Its laws protect life, its prayers heal the heart, its charity uplifts the soul, its remembrance cleanses the mind. It brings the sacred into the ordinary and makes the ordinary sacred. When a person says, "La ilaha illallah," there is no deity worthy of worship but Allah, they are not joining a group. They are awakening their own truth. They are remembering the promise their soul made before time began. This is why the Prophet Muhammad could stand before the world and speak words that still echo across time. The most beloved of people to Allah are those who are most beneficial to humanity. Darakutni. In that one statement lies the heart of Islam's universality: to serve, to uplift, to heal, to unite. The light that spoke in the deserts of Arabia was meant for every heart that longs for peace, every mind that seeks reason, every soul that yearns to return. And though centuries have passed, that light still speaks, to the broken, the searching, the believer, the skeptic, whispering gently, "You were never alone. You were always known. And your Creator is closer to you than your own heartbeat. And we are closer to them than their jugular vein." Surah Qaf, 50:16. This is the voice that calls across time, across culture, across pain, the voice of divine mercy. And when humanity listens, it doesn't just find religion, it finds home. Part 4. The Return to Meaning. There comes a point in every human journey when the running stops. Not because we've reached everything we dreamed of, but because we finally realize we were running in the wrong direction. We chased light in places that could only offer reflection, and peace in worlds that were never built to last. And then, in the stillness that follows exhaustion, the heart begins to whisper again, softly, but clearly. Return. The soul remembers. It remembers a time before the noise, before the fear, before the endless comparisons and expectations. It remembers standing before its Creator, recognizing Him, knowing Him. And that memory becomes a flame, a spark of divine mercy that refuses to die, no matter how dark the world becomes. That's when the journey of return begins, not backward, but inward. A journey not of distance, but of recognition. Because Allah was never far. It was our hearts that wandered. The Quran says, "So remember me. I will remember you." Surah Al-Baqarah 2152. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every moment of gratitude is not a ritual of repetition, but a doorway back to peace. Remembrance revives the soul, gratitude heals the heart, and prayer anchors the human being once again in the rhythm of divine balance. Islam does not erase the storms of life. It teaches us how to sail through them with meaning. It does not promise that we will never feel pain. It gives pain a purpose. It teaches that hardship refines, that loss awakens, that even tears can become worship when they are shed in remembrance. And in this realization, the soul finds rest. Because it understands that peace was never outside, it was always within, waiting to be awakened. That's why Islam means peace through submission. Not surrender in weakness, but surrender in trust, trusting that the one who created us knows exactly what our hearts need. When a human being returns to that truth, life transforms. The same world looks different. The same problems feel lighter. Because the focus shifts from what is temporary to what is eternal. The Quran reminds us again, indeed, this Quran guides to that which is most upright, and gives good news to the believers who do righteous deeds that they will have a great reward. Surah Al-Isra, 17-9. The light of the Quran is not limited to a time or place. It continues to guide the broken and the hopeful alike. It whispers through every age, calling the human being not to perfection, but to sincerity, balance, and peace. And that is what every soul has been searching for since the beginning. Not power, not control, but peace. A peace that fills the heart, guides the mind, and steadies the hands that once trembled in emptiness. When humanity returns to Islam, not as a label, but as a way of living, the world around us heals too. Families strengthen, communities rediscover compassion. We begin to see each other again, not as rivals, but as fellow travelers in need of mercy. Because Islam's call is not be superior, it is be sincere. It is a return to what makes us human, to care, to forgive, to serve, to worship. The Prophet Muhammad (s.a.w) said, "The most beloved of deeds to Allah are those that are consistent, even if small." Bukhari. Peace is not found in grand gestures, but in the small, steady choices of remembrance, a prayer whispered before sleep, a moment of honesty when no one is watching, a smile to a stranger, A word of mercy to the hurting. These are the acts that rebuild the world from within. This is what Islam nurtures, a humanity at peace with its creator, and thus, at peace with itself. So when the soul returns to meaning, emptiness disappears, because now it understands. This life was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to be purposeful. Every joy, every sorrow, every test, every success is part of a greater story, the story of returning home. Indeed, we belong to Allah, and to Him we shall return. Surah Al-Baqarah 2056. This is not just a verse of mourning, it is a verse of meaning. It reminds us that we are not drifting in chaos. We are traveling toward mercy, toward the one who knows our pain, who shaped our hearts, who never abandons His creation. And when that realization settles deep within, the soul finally breathes. The noise quiets. The endless search finds rest, because to know Allah is to know peace. And to live Islam is to live in harmony with the truth of who we are. So, O humanity, listen to the quiet ache within you. It is not emptiness, it is remembrance. Return to the one who fashioned your heart, and you will find what the world could never give, meaning that lasts, and peace that never ends. For the soul that returns to Allah has already found everything.